I've always wondered to myself, is there something that helps the entrepreneurs that succeed that they have, which other entrepreneurs don't? Is it something they know? Is it how they run their businesses? Is it the people they hire? Is it where they went to school? Is it their socialization, their background, their education, their mental spaces? What is it that makes the entrepreneur succeed? Welcome to my masterclasses, where I share with you everything you need to know about how to become a high-growth, high-scale entrepreneur. I'm joined by guests. We break down the myths, the ideas, the lids, the legends, everything you need to know to become a high-growth entrepreneur. Warning, this is the High Performance Zone.
As you do a lot of services, at the end of the day, you must price your product. And if you price it incorrectly, the rest of the businesses...
You're dead.
You're dead.
That's such an important point. What do you do?
I'm a landscaper.
My sympathies. So it's a services business?
It's a service business.
Yeah. You know, I think it's such a powerful question, because this thing about pricing right is, if you get it right, and you got to be careful what you want to tell the market. If you sell a commodity, then sometimes the price is fixed. Do you know what I mean? Landscapers, conveyancers. Typically, if I'm dealing with them, this is the price, and it's related to the price of the asset, the property itself that I'm having something done with. They're going to charge me a fee. Architects, those type of things. So they kind of fix the price there. So the only way then to achieve a price differential is if I have a brand differential. An accountant is an accountant is an accountant, except if Vusi walks in and says, my books are audited by EY. All of a sudden in your mind, the perception of what I do just changed. Does it make sense? So what they do is they invest in brand because they know what they sell is a commodity. The only way to charge you more is if you perceive it to be worth more. But audited financial statements are audited financial statements, whether they are done by KPMG, which you shouldn't get them to be done by. you understand what I'm saying? The commodity is the same. So what do? I try to increase brand value so I can charge more. Is the thing about price. The second thing about price is if you get it wrong and you go too far south, many start businesses do this, like startup businesses. Because you want to get customers, you charge as little as possible. The race to the bottom is a race no one wins. No one wins. First, in a market that's dominated by big players, you'll never win a price war. So, I'll come to you in a minute. So, these guys, Penflex, I wonder who owns this. Something tells me it's Walton's, but I wonder. So whoever owns this brand, if I today want to make these, I don't know how many of these I do, like when I'm at conferences, even in our own office, I think it's probably Penflex, I don't know. But whoever makes this product has a proper monopoly on making these things. Everywhere you buy them, it's the same brand. I don't know how they got that right, but they get the distribution right. It's available all the time, everywhere in the country I go. If tomorrow I take on a decision to take them up, I can't win on price. They sell many more volumes than I can. And you know what they'll do? They won't take me to court. They'll suffocate me. Yeah? So what they do is they say, oh, you're here? Okay. What do you sell this thing for? I say, it's my power aid. And I call it Vusi Aid. Okay. Vusi aiding us, eh? All right. How much? And I go, no, but mine is amazing because mine, I get the juices and I get they're like, no. How much? Let's say 15 Rand. They say, really? Yeah. So, oh, okay. And it costs them, so I sell it at 15 Rand, it costs me 12 Rand. Yeah. They make it for 8 Rand because they have many factories, and they sell it for 20. Yeah. So you know what they do? They drop the price to 9 Rand. And then they sit back and they watch. They just watch. They leave you. And you run, you go, oh, how are they sitting? I'm going to fight. And they just watch. And they watch. Then you decide, no, I'm going to take them on. So you go to the bank, you say, bank, my house, I own it, I want to take a second bond. You take your second bond, you plant it into your product, and you meet them at their 9 Rand price. Cost you 12 to make, you're selling at 9. What did I just tell you? You never sell for more than, yeah? So every single item you sell, you lose 3 Rand. And they go, oh, serious? And they drop the price to 2. And here's why they can. They can because they're owned by Coca-Cola. So they'll lose money on Powerade. They're going to make it on Coke and Stone and Fanta and Sparletta and vitamin water and everything else. They'll just suffocate you on one product line. You've got one product, they've got a bouquet. This is why you can never challenge Unilever. It's like...
Onboard income statement. So after profits, after tax, dividends, how much do I pay myself as a main shareholder? Because that's my problem. I've ran businesses from when I was in primary school, and they're all successful, but imali kayidla. Like I would say
the Can we go deeper? You know, you double click. What do you spend it on?
Personal things. Okay, kuna lento le persona lena enye like a real housewife of Zululand because I'm from Zululand. So sometimes get to something that is like like going to because like we'll drive with my sisters to Durban to buy lipsticks and go back home. And that's
Hold on. No, this is actually good. And I'll tell you why. First, let me congratulate you by being. It's so important to be honest with yourself. It takes real courage to be honest with yourself about yourself in the glare of strangers. Okay. Why do you feel the need to buy lipsticks?
There's really no. I don't know.
Let me ask the question differently. What would happen if you didn't do it?
Probably shop online. Like
what would happen if you didn't shop?
I'll have money, I guess.
Yeah. And what would you forego if you didn't do it? What would you lose? How would you feel?
I think it's psychological, this thing of shopping, because it's not evade. Like fill that void to be like a real housewife.
I get it. Look, I mean, I think, you remember the whole thing about internal dialogue? That's so we all have it, right? And I think your internal dialogue might have something to do with feelings of inadequacy. Yeah? You don't feel good enough. So when you've made enough money, you buy the things that make you feel good enough. It's not bad, it's just who you are. And I would rather a demon I know and understand, because then I can deal with it. You're never going to stop it, you just need to have it in measure.
So that's why I need to know, I'm not dividends, how much do I
There's no question to that. Suffices to say, yeah, but wait. Suffices to say that if you draw everything as dividends, there's nothing to start the next year with. There's no retained earnings. There's no answer to that. There isn't. You might want to take 90% of your money and pull it out the business. But then the question you've got to ask yourself is, could I survive the next year, the first 6 months, with 10% of what I made last year left in the business and no new sales? Make sense? And if I couldn't, would the lipstick help me survive it? I think, by the way, what she's talking about lipstick, guys do with cars. So some of us here are judging things we shouldn't be talking about. Guys do exactly the same thing with cars. If not, now it's watches. It's a thing. Between watches and cars, it was suits. Yeah, but we always find things to buy that help you feel the way you want to feel, but it's temporary, then it fades. Then the more money you make, the more money you feel the need to spend. Just hold on. I wonder, who else here has had the problem of when you see how much money is in the bank account, you feel the need to access it? Am I right? Yeah. Wait, do you know where that comes from? Remember that scale we went through of how you earn? People who earn wages spend all the wages they earn. Now, it links to the conversation we had earlier, but if you come from places of depravity where there was nothing, it means everything that was made was spent. Which means psychologically we learned we make to spend. So the farther up I go, the more reasons I'm going to find to spend. That's why I make it, Paul. I make it to spend it. Then we find ways to convince ourselves, like, well, I work very hard. I deserve it. Yeah? Or you're just self-justifying, but you're up here now, or somewhere here, and you're living with habits of a person down here. Now remember, the person who earns wages earns a wage whether the company makes money or not. If you work at the SABC, bad kokela, even though it's bankrupt. You work at Eskom, bad kokela, even though it's bankrupt. But if I'm a shareholder at the SABC, then for the past 15 years, I've earned 0 dividends. So my behavior as a shareholder needs to be the behavior of a person who goes, could I live 10 years without this thing paying me? When Johan Rupert arrives for a board meeting, I promise you now, the car he's driving, he doesn't know the installment. He's probably not driving. But whatever it is, he's not here. You have to learn the habits of where you are and where you want to go, not where you come from. And you have to unlock that internal dialogue. It'll kill you. It will absolutely destroy you, and you will not achieve beyond what you've achieved already. Okay, so the question you're asking is, how do you get people to look beyond your age? Okay. Show me your clients. Who have you got a client you've done work for?
Well, I'm working with my uncle's business. He owns Beluga and Gateway.
Beluga? Oh, that's them.
Now we're talking big money. Big money.
Only doing all that. Did you do these posts for Gateway, Beluga Gateway Durban? Is this you?
Not all of them. I work with the manager, so I don't have they haven't trusted me with 100% control over them.
Yes, well, I get that. Who took the pictures?
They have camera people there on site.
I see.
Because obviously I'll be in school most of the time.
Right, and so your own uncle hasn't trusted you because you're 17?
Not fully.
Okay. And your question is, how do you get people to trust you? Is that the question? Why do you do social media?
It's purely because at this day and age, especially people my age, they always on their screens. People are on their screens so much that even when they're on the toilet, they're on their phones.
Wow. That went south very The funny part is, as he's saying it, even the ladies are like, yeah, whatever.
People no longer walk and talk, people walk and tweet. So it's...
So I get that Twitter or social media, thank you so much, Liv. I get that those are like growing platforms, right? What I'm trying to understand is, why are you doing it?
Purely because it's something I do enjoy. Like, it's one of the first things I do in the morning. I wake up at 3 and the first thing I do is go on my phone and I'm on social media. Lord knows what I'm looking at.
So hands up if you needed a social media person, if you'd buy from him? If you would buy from him?
Yeah.
You buy from him? I'd be keen to know why. Why?
His uncle.
Sorry, wait, what about his uncle?
His uncle's big.
Why is his uncle big? I don't know.
What's his name? Yeah, he's big. He's very big.
What do you mean, like physically big or?
In terms of business and respect, like I do stuff for Moses for free. Because if I walked into any company or any other business person and they asked me who you've done business for, I said, Moses stand, but get the job.
Yeah, this is the thing about KZN. You can tell it. There's definitely here. I was actually saying it to somebody now over lunch. There's a. Can I be honest with you guys? This is just my reading of this place. So, older people, much older people here, are wiser but not as intelligent, and they're not as educated. So they slow things down a lot. You young guys aren't as wise, but you're more educated and typically more intelligent. So you want to speed things up a lot. And it seems to me there's a constant clash with the pace at which they will let you grow and the pace at which you're naturally growing. Make sense? You guys feel like that? And as a result, because they have power, they set the ceiling. So you're never quite sure like where to go, which kind of adds to your comment about I would because of the name and association. It's very it's a regional thing. You'll find it in a lot of regions. There are, if I do for, then I can for everybody else. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I get it, but let's look for a business reason why we would support it. What you've got to do when who you are undermines what you're capable of is you have to show your capability absent of who you are. And by the way, it's this thing of having a recognizable name. You've got to be careful with it because it is a blessing and a curse. So when your name is recognizable, or if you come from a family that is recognizable, even the enemies of that family will be your enemies. Right, so it'll open doors, but it's going to shut a lot of them down as well. You'll get someone who'll go, why must I give you business? Your uncle is so-and-so. Never mind again. Why should I? Whereas you're trying to create your own path and legacy. So maybe think about this. So the first thing is definitely start learning a bit about analytics. I think he's right. I would definitely do that. Do you know anything about analytics?
I do to an extent, but obviously I can always increase my knowledge.
Right, right. So do you know the difference between a South African 17-year-old in Durban and a 17-year-old in Silicon Valley? Or in, I don't know, Beijing?
Not
Or even New York? Or
Not
London?
necessarily.
No? Yeah, here you see yourself as a South African 17-year-old in Durban who wants to do social media. In those markets, they see themselves as social media professionals who just happen to be 17. So what you got to do is you got to benchmark yourself, not here. You got to benchmark yourself. You got to ask yourself, what is the person my age who does what I'm doing now in another part of the world? Your competition is not the people around you. Because if you can compete at a global level, then the people around you will always they'll track you. They'll follow what you're doing. Okay, first thing. Second thing is, to his point about the analytics, is throw as much information and analytics as possible. So when I started speaking when I was 17, I won the world championship. 19, I turned professional. It was hard, like hard when you're 19-year-old to get a corporate to book you to come and speak. Their kids are your age. Yeah. So then what I focused on was a lot less about how young I was, and a lot more about what I had done even though I was that young. So if you elevate track record, age doesn't matter, or it matters less. Yeah? So whatever brands you've worked with, you've got to show that track record. And what I would do if I was you, I said to you earlier, free is not a sale, it's a giveaway. I'd find free. So I'd find as many clients who want free stuff as possible. So the ladies who run the fruit, whatever you're discussing with them, don't bill them. Do it. Just take it as like exposure. They must be your sample, your case study. Learn as much as you can. It's like the first girl you date in high school. You know nothing, but like you're learning. You know, so when I kiss, do I go in left? Do I go in right? Up, down. You haven't worked this out yet, right? But you know, 6 months into kissing, you're like, this is how I do shit, right? So what I would do is I'd find more clients like this who are willing to trust you with a brand because they're trying to grow it as well, and are willing for you to take the risk. And then I would just do as much as I can. Track at the beginning where you start, track at the end where you start. So when you have a conversation with an educated brand person, you can go, these are the results I have achieved. Let's not have a conversation about how old I am. Look at my shit. I can do the same for you. It shifts. Those things about conversational anchors, especially in the sales process, try and look for where the anchor in the conversation is. For women, it's typically you're a woman. And it's hard, especially for attractive women. I think it's so hard for you guys. Ladies, it's like really hard for attractive women because people see you. And you're in trying to have a serious business conversation and this person is looking at you. And you're like, so on page 17, he's like, what I was saying on the proposal, and he's not there, right? So then what you got to figure out is how do I shift the conversational anchor as quickly as possible? Get this person to look at the things I want them to look at, not the things that they are predisposed to looking at because of how they see the world. Does that help you?
Yeah, definitely, thank you.
Cool. And your page, your own personal page, shit.
Yeah.
Go do some work on it.
Yes.
Right. Now, He laughs. I can talk to you like that because you and I are young people. He's old people. So what I would do is for your own personal page, your ratio is good because you had 1,982 followers with 6 posts. That's cool. What I would do is I would shift my follower ratio because then Instagram will rate you higher. So you've got to follow fewer people with higher followings. Yeah? Then what you do is the people you follow like their stuff a lot. Because what happens is Instagram has an algorithm that it rates your comments above everybody else's comments. If they start seeing you, it's likely they'll go to your page and they'll like your stuff. Then what Instagram does is it bumps you up. That's how I got verified. So you get bumped up. So if like Mike Epps sees my stuff, which is what happened. So Mike Epps saw my stuff, then Kevin Hart my stuff, then The Rock my stuff, and they like a few things. Instagram goes, who's this guy being liked by The Rock and Mike Epps? And okay, verified. Make sense? So you gotta get your ratio right. If you get that ratio right and you get your posts right and you get the right people looking at you, then you'll see very quickly that you get pushed up. But your page has, you gotta think about your page as an advertisement, not as a personal page.